getting confused about relationships. How would I know if someone is right for me? Coach Shraddha, one, it is that no matter when you go into a relationship, it's always a calculated risk. It's like how we never know whether business is going to succeed. The same way we can never really know if this relationship is going to work. So one of the things one of my trainers used to say is you marry and you make it right. Correct? So there are some things you know in your value system that you can align with the other person's value system. What is important to them, if it is also important to you, then to me that is like matching a Janam Kundali. Okay? So you don't have to worry too much about getting it right in terms of will everything match. No, it will not. You know why? Because a soulmate's job is to remind you of all the things that are missing in you so that you grow them in you. Unlike the romanticized emotion that we have towards a soulmate, that he'll be the perfect partner and because of him we will never feel sad again, that's not true at all. So what I'd love for you to focus on is there a match? Is your value systems a match? Is what you and him, do you have common topics of interest and your ability to talk to one another? And once you have that, you get into a relationship and you slowly start to see the differences between you and him. And as you start to move into the differences, you start to realize that you need to evolve and he needs to evolve more for you to be complete on your own, so that when you come together, you become an inseparable lock. Okay? So, calculated risk, go with your gut intuition, your gut will speak to you, and it's never 100% match, but you make it right. How to protect your peace of mind, Sheetal is asking, when it is invaded by your close relatives like mother-in-law. She either not allows or points out or creates a fuss when I go to my mother's place or shopping. I don't know if there was more. Sheetal, the real truth, if you understand it, is that no one can invade your freedom or your peace of mind till you give them permission to do so. While this is very easy to say, very difficult to follow, but that's the real truth. You see, how I respond to something is 10 times more important than what someone is doing to me. So when you say that she does not allow, I understand. I live in a joint family. It's not like I don't understand. I have 2 co-sisters. I have a mother-in-law. We all live in the same house from the last 22 years. So I can tell you one thing. It's all about you looking at the intention rather than the words. Do they mean you harm? And if they don't mean you harm, please be super forgiving. Now, if you start to feel like, yes, they actually do mean me harm, then you have to start to protect yourself, okay? You need to stand up for yourself. You need to start to set boundaries. You need to start to let people know what they can and cannot do with you. We don't have the courage to do all of that, but we want everyone to love us, support us, be kind to us, give us permissions. It doesn't work like that. So from today onwards, I would love for you to check which category do they belong to. Are they just like that only? Like I always say, my in-laws are my mango people. I am a orange. An orange, the best mango it can be is a fake mango. So I'd rather just be an orange and let them accept me for being an amazing orange rather than me spending the rest of my life trying to be a mango. Because I can't be. I did not grow up with the value systems that they have inculcated in themselves and their children, correct? So, and the beauty of sometimes a relationship is that me and my husband are so different. So I want you to start to become very deep and rightful about your own personal reaction to what they are saying. I used to always ask my clients when I used to hear about mother-in-laws is, do you love your husband more or do you hate her more? Because you know what you're going to land up doing? You're going to land up spending a lot of your time discussing with the man you love the most, okay, the woman that he loves a lot, hatred about her. And then you'll expect him to love you. Very difficult. If you poke him where it hurts, the chances are that at that point he may hear you out, but he'll poke you back the same way. Okay, so you want to be very careful about this whole relationship. If I had to do daughter-in-law training, I would definitely tell girls that, you know what, love him more than you hate her. See if you can do that. I remember at one point making a very conscious effort in my marriage saying, I'm not going to discuss her. I'm not going to talk about her. I'm not going to, all the time be filling my husband's head with things against her, because while it helps me remove all of my emotional toxicity, it makes our relation supremely toxic. So, you know what? You have to start to stand up for yourself. You have to start to say no a lot more, and it's going to take courage, and it's going to take a certain amount of you being okay with she being disappointed with you. You know, we don't want to disappoint the people, we want to please them, and unfortunately in the process we become bitter from within. I'm taking a little long to answer this question only because I know how many women suffer and struggle with all of this. I mean, I honestly have a fabulous mother-in-law and a joint family that really works beautifully, touch wood. But I can tell you, it was not always like this, okay? We've all evolved, we've all matured, we've all realized that it's too, when you are not happy from within, your heart shrinks. And when your heart is a very small size, it becomes very difficult to forgive. Our self-esteem goes down and we take everything personally. Even when someone didn't mean to attack us, we'll end up taking it like I know they have poison against me. I know they're doing this purposely. I know they are. And we build everything up so big that we make ourselves toxic beings, okay? And then we wonder why her negativity is affecting me, because we have become her, because we've been continuously thinking about her, and the person we think about most is whose energy we absorb. You think about Mother Teresa, Oprah, Michelle Obama, you will become like them. You keep thinking about the people you hate most, you're going to become exactly like them, and you're going to be like, no way will I ever be them. That's who you will become. You know, when people hate other people, eventually they start to carry hatred within. In the beginning, that hatred was justified because something wrong was done to you. But after a while, that hatred just becomes your second nature. So my dear sweetheart Sheetal, be very careful, be very protective of your energy. See if you can be kinder than everyone around you. There is no better religion than kindness. See if you can support your husband more than hate his mother. See if you can start to really do a 21-day challenge on no complaining, no blaming. No matter what happens, I will not complain, I will not blame. These are all the strategies I use, and I can tell you today my mother-in-law and I share a 10 on 10 relationship. My husband and I share a 10 on 10 relationship, but all of these relationships I have worked very hard on. You know, it didn't come naturally. How to identify your triggers in a relationship. If the triggers are relevant to the normal word trigger, I think it's lovely to write out in a relationship what are the things you tend to have a fight over. You know, we all have patterns. For some couples it's money, for some couples it's insecurity, for some couples it's flirting with others, for some couples it's their children, for some couples it's their joint family, for some couples it's what are your fights on. We have only 1, 2 or 3 topics that most of us land up repeatedly fighting on. And once you know your triggers, then why not in advance have an answer to that? Why not in advance pre-prepare what it is that you want to, where you want the fight to go next time. So if I know that money is a problem between my husband and I, next time onwards, I will make sure that I talk about it in such a way that we don't land up going exactly to the place we always land up going. You never give me money. You always are like that only. I've every time told you, but we are so accusing, and then we carry all of that history of all of the days when he didn't give money or whatever he didn't do. You want to be so careful about all of that, because all of us are evolving, things are changing, but we are not letting them change when we stick to one thought, one idea, and for 20 years we drag it because one day he had done something which was unjust and we couldn't get over it. So you want to be careful around all of that. So for me, that's what trigger means. I don't know if this is the question that you asked.